What's up guys, Matt here with Fix Anything Save Money. Today we're going to be talking about tile, and I'm going to be showing you how to tile a kitchen backsplash. So we'll first just walk through the basic things you're going to be using and how to use them. So here we have a thin set mortar, and you could buy different types of mortar depending on your tile size. So for these subway tiles, they're 3" by 6". So we're going to be using a thin set. Now, if you're unsure of the size to use, you could see there's on the package, it describes what size tile you could use this mortar up to. So anywhere from 0 to 15 inches in length, that would qualify for you to use a thin set. If you're using like a 12 by 24, you're going to want to use a medium mortar. Then we're going to the different grout options. I'm going with a charcoal grout on this. So depending on the size of your grout joint, you're going to want to choose either a non-sanded or a sanded grout. So if your grout joint is a 1/16 up to an 1/8, then you're going to want to use a non-sanded grout. Or if you're, for anything over 1/8 inch, then you're going to want to use a sanded grout joint. The difference between those two are the sanded grout joint offers more stability. So that's what you would want to use on anything larger than 1/8 inch. It's a stronger grout. So now that we know what kind of mortar we're going to use, what kind of grout we're going to use, and what kind of tile we're using, we can go ahead and get into the different tools we'll be using. So since I'm only going to be mixing up a small amount just for one little row, then we're going to just be using this mud pan here. But if you're mixing up like this entire bag, you're going to want to use a 5-gallon bucket. And then this is a square notch trowel that we'll be using to spread the mortar. And then once the mortar dries and we do our grout, this will be the grout float that we use to spread our grout into our gaps. When we go to cut our tile, this is the tile saw we're going to be using. And if you have any questions on this tile saw, I made an entire video on it, so just be sure to subscribe to my channel video. So then we're also going to be using a speed square, a permanent marker. This will just be for marking our tiles for whenever we need to make a cut. And we'll go upstairs and I'll show you guys what we're looking at. Okay guys, so now we're upstairs in the kitchen and you can see what we're going to be doing. I just want to add another layer of subway tile because when the stove is pushed in, and you're cooking, you can actually see down into here. It doesn't look like the tile goes all the way down. So we're just going to be doing one more row, and then when you're standing in front of the stove, it'll look like the tile goes all the way down. Okay guys, now we're back downstairs. I'm just going to show you how to mix up this mortar. We just have some water, we have our mortar, and we have our mud pan. And then I'm just going to scoop it in with this margin trowel. So what you want to do when you do this is just scoop some in. And then add water. And I'm just going to mix it by hand. Now if you're going to be mixing up the entire bag, you're going to want to use a 5-gallon bucket and slowly add water and your mortar. You don't want to dump the whole bag of mortar in and then put your water in, because it's not going to give you the consistency that you're looking for, and it's going to make it nearly impossible to actually mix. So the consistency you're looking for on this is like a little bit creamier than peanut butter. You want it to spread evenly, but you don't want it so watery that you can actually, like, it's actually runny. Okay guys, so we're still just mixing this up. And you can see it's starting to get to the desired consistency we're looking for. And if it's too watery, just add a little bit more mortar. If it's too thick, just add a little bit more water. And then once you get it to your desired consistency, you're going to just want to let it sit for 5 to 10 minutes, let it set up a little bit, and then check the consistency again. If you need to add a little bit more water, then do so, because working with really thick mortar is difficult, and it just sets up that much quicker on you, and it doesn't really give you the time that you need to do your job, especially if you're new to this. So you want it pretty much that kind of consistency. You don't want it watery, you don't want it running off, but you want it, you know, a little bit thinner than think of peanut butter, just a little bit thinner. That's what I like to tell people, and that kind of gives you a good visual. All right, so we'll sit, I'll pause the video, we'll let this set up for 5 to 10 minutes, and then we'll recheck it, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, so we're back. It's been about 10 minutes, and you can see the consistency is exactly where we want it. It's not too loose, but it's not too thick, so it's gonna be good to spread. So now we'll go back upstairs, and I'll show you how to get this on your wall and how to set our tile. Okay guys, so now I'll show you how to actually trowel this on. So all you're gonna do, there's our mud. Put it on the notched side. Get some on the notched side. And then we're just gonna you just want to make sure you have good even coverage across the whole area. And then all we're going to do is take a little bit of time and realize that this tile right here is a full tile. So we'll put another full tile, and that'll bring us to the halfway mark on this one. And then we'll also, so then we'll just continue until we get down to here. And then whatever we have left, we'll just cut. And then we're going to also be using, I previously used 1/8 inch spacers for these grout lines. So I'll grab some 1/8 inch spacers, and we'll space it all out, and I'll show you how that all works as well. So we've got our 1/8 inch spacers here, and we'll put those along like that as we're setting the tile. And then I've also got a piece of wood cut that I'm going to set down here underneath the tile, so that if the tile sags, this wood will catch it, and it'll prevent the tiles from actually sagging and giving us a larger grout gap. Alright, so we can start setting tiles now. So some people don't back butter their tiles. I do. It just gives a better hold. You don't have to go crazy with it, but I do like to get a good even coverage on it. And we'll just set it, and then get our spacers. And then we'll just do this for everything. It's a little awkward to film while I'm doing it, but okay, so now you can see we have our tiles secured. Our grout joints are good. And then you could just take these spacers, and while your mud's wet, you can go through and clean out any excess mortar you have, and it'll just make your life a little easier the less you have on it. All right, now we'll go down and I'll show you how to cut a tile with a wet tile saw. We're gonna cut our tile. So we determined that we need 5 1/8 of an inch. So we'll take our speed square and we'll mark it. And this gives you, when you use a permanent marker, it gives you a nice line so that when you're actually cutting with this saw, your line doesn't disappear too quickly. So we'll just follow our guard and we'll just cut straight up on that line. So we'll start the saw, make sure this guard is down where water is going to splash all up on you. We'll start our saw and then we'll just follow this line. Okay, you can see it gave us a nice cut. And we'll go back upstairs and we'll install it. We'll install this next to the other tile and then we'll put this rough end up against the cabinet. So now we'll just back butter this tile. We'll set it right in like that. Take our spacers, make sure it's spaced correctly. Clean up our tiles a little bit more. And just cleaning these saves you time the next day. Once this mortar dries and you go to grout, it'll save you all the time getting all this dried mortar off. And then you just want to double check all your spacing. Make sure your spacing is correct throughout the whole thing. You can see we have 1/8 of an inch everywhere. There you have it, guys. We'll let this sit overnight and then we'll come back and we'll do the grout. If you have any questions on this video, be sure to comment. Otherwise, please like and subscribe to this channel and check out all my other how-to videos. Yeah, that's it. Have a good day, guys.